without sight. I've got growers in my neighborhood, and I'm not that sensitive to it, but I've had friends over helping me hang a door, and they can smell it. Is there any monitoring of air quality? Is there any ability to do that, or to have any oversight in that?
Yeah. So in the ordinance, we did put in, or I did put in, that they shall not operate with any odor that shall leave the premises. Okay. Now, most of these facilities, my understanding, the good ones, sorry, I'll speak up. The processors and the growers, those facilities that would generate some smell. There's regulations with regard to odors. I've put it in here. It's not in a lot of other municipalities' ordinances, because most municipalities do have a nuisance odor type of thing, but I wanted to add it into this one. My experience with processors and growers is that they have a lot of like mechanical devices and stuff to keep the smell down. It's not something that they're interested in, as Commissioner Simeon represented. You know, those businesses are businesses that don't have advertising sign or retail, so they probably want to be a nondescript building called something. Yeah, you know that have it. Now, with respect to what you are smelling, what we are all smelling, what my wife keeps telling me we keep smelling when she's in line somewhere, is that, you know, the smell of marijuana is probably here to stay in general. This particular ordinance is with respect to the commercial facilities, right? So the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act, the one that essentially originally decriminalized for medical use marijuana, you know, provides that they can grow in homes, or people can do stuff on their own, or a caregiver. So it's very difficult to regulate that because it is in our neighborhoods, it is there. You know, the thought is if it's more commercially available, hopefully it's not in the neighborhoods as much. You know, honestly, my experiences, or at least all of our common experiences, that, you know, the smell of marijuana it's kind of here, yeah. But I put that in here to see, you know, there would be probably some pushback, but we've got something in here that at the very least any of the commercial facilities are aware of, and that we expect as part of that whole application process, probably, you know, how they're going to keep the odor down.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Fisher.
Kind of the comments I had were, I mean, the Laura and Susie provided the number of parcels that met the 1,000 foot from all the original churches, which was 258 parcels. My personal preference would be to stick to the 1,000 feet from all those. The one where that I'm for is the growing, processor, security, transport, safety, compliance. Those could be in the industrial I-1, I-2. My thought was the processing, provisioning center / retailers and the microbrew could be possibly in B1. Just because that's, I don't know if we want people driving down an industrial road to go buy it. You know, after hours, you know, those locations generally aren't well lit. Could be an issue. Kind of my recommendation too was to start, as I didn't have nearly the amount that Chris had. I had 10 total. I had 3 provisioning centers, 2 growers, 2 processors, then 1 secure transport, 1 safety, 1 microbrew to start. Like I said, if we get into this, and once you open the box, it's hard to close the box. If we open the box to a lot, it's going to be hard to rein it in if we think it's a problem. So that was just my thought, is that maybe the dispensaries we could put it, but still have, and I don't know if anyone, to be honest, would fit the criteria. But again, they'd have to be away from schools, churches, parks, all that kind of stuff, the same as the industrial. But that's just, those are kind of my thoughts. I think some stuff was, you know, we're working our way through it, but that's still I don't think we should eliminate how close they are to churches and to parks and all that were taken out of from the original, from the medical one that we originally had, to what was put in front of us last time. then I'm still in favor of the 1,000 feet, because even if we allow 10, there's 258 parcels. I mean, that's less than 4, I mean, that's 4% of those parcels, you know, to me, that I don't see on a reason to shrink down the size from 500, or from 1,000 to 500 feet. But again, that's just my personal preference. If we allow, to be truthful, I'm not in favor of it. It's not something that I'm into. It's not something that, we don't know how to control this from people driving. I mean, it's just like drinking and driving, tobacco, everything. This just isn't something that I'm in favor of, but if we do it, this is kind of the steps I'd like to do to see it done so that we can control. Like I said, I don't want to open up, yeah, we're going to allow 25 or 30, and the next thing you know, it's running rampant. I had 10 facilities to start, and within 4 years, we figure out that that's not enough, and maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was, and then maybe I'd be on board with opening it up to more, but that's kind of that's my 2 cents there.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Mr. Gallosi.
Okay. Through the chair, I have a question regarding the secure transport. I do a lot of driving. I've noticed a lot of delivery vehicles not delivering marijuana. Is that something part of what's happening in the city also?
Yeah, you're talking about deliveries like to people's homes.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of cars.
It's going to happen regardless of whether we have a retailer in the city or not. You know, I've seen in dealing with it from a couple of other municipalities and just researching, frankly, as I'm trying to enforce certain things or attempting to enforce or investigate, I can see that there's approvals for home delivery. I think they get it through the state. That's different than a secure transporter, right? The secure transporter is, I call it like it's like the Brinks truck, right? Angela's been in a lot of meetings with me. It's like the Brinks truck of marijuana, and it is the bulk carrier between facilities, right? Because the setup with the state is that this is a seed to sale track that is from a grower, wherever the grower is, to the retail sale. That packaged marijuana is supposed to be tracked, and we're supposed to know where its provenance is from. So the secure transporter is simply the commercial bulk transporter between facilities. So it has nothing to do with, you know, somebody calling up and, you know, with a particular retailer having the ability to deliver.
Through the chair, I think for growth facilities, and you said that they're going to be pretty much hidden. They're not going to allow them to go on. So the facilities to grow, I really don't. To me, doesn't. They're going to be big warehouses. People that come in here and spend a lot of money on buildings, it's too gross. So that part of it, I'm not worried about. Personally, the retail, Taylor is like large cities. I would think go on in corner cities, 1 or 2, and we have 8 or below. I don't think we need more. There's a surrounding city down the road that has 7 or 8 retail facilities on 1 street. I think that's enough. But we might be working on all of it. 1,000 feet, I believe, is 1,000 feet away from the first school park, residential.
Thank you, Mr. Gallosi. Mr. Stiles.
Well, I was able to visit those few facilities. I can tell you, as for the smell, I was walking down the hallway and I was smelling, all I got is what you're smelling is happy home.
Right.
Just put a little something together. These places don't want to know, they don't want people to know. I've never been in cleaner facilities. You know, I was told to be very clean when I came in. I had to put a Tyvek suit on when I got in. These people aren't just letting anybody walk in. Nobody's coming in there to buy something. These people are coming in there to work. They are clean before they go in there. They wear the same suit. They don't know what they're stepping on or anything. We bring a certain inspection in there and it ruins everything. There's millions of dollars. So as for the growth facilities,
security, top notch. You don't, I mean, they know every move around the building, you know, where everybody's at in the building. You know, there's no employees sneaking something out. It's pretty tight. And all very valid points. I agree with what everybody says. Chris, a lot of good valid points. I do agree with the not drive-through, but you do have to have some sort of curbside or something.